am Professor Dr. Yogesh Zuzare, faculty at Dr. Vidyapeeth, the Center for Online Learning, Pune. It's a wonderful morning and I feel privileged to extend warm welcome to all present. We are all here to attain yet another wonderful DPU Brainwave series. In this series, today, we have amongst us Mr. Sagar Narsian, a business coach and a corporate trainer, to deliver today's webinar on key trends that impact buyer behavior. To begin this session, I would actually like to begin with the quote, is that the ability to learn is the most important quality a leader can have. To make the future leader, Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth is making continuous effort by imparting every attempt towards giving great learning to all our students under the great leadership of our Honorable Dr. P.D. Patil Sir, Chancellor Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth Pune, Pro-Chancellor Dr. Bhagyashree Patil Madam, Honorable Dr. N.J. Pawar Sir, Vice Chancellor Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth Pune, Dr. Smita Jadhav Ma'am, Trustee and Executive Director Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth Pune. Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth Pune has achieved a significant academic growth and development in the field of professional and health sciences education over the last 2 decades under the great leadership of our Honorable Chancellor Dr. P.D. Patil Sir. Our Honorable Executive Director and Trustee, Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth Pune has always been the source of motivation and inspiration to all of us to arrange such a value-added program. These DPU Brainwave series are successfully arranged and implemented under the guidance and leadership of our beloved Director of Center for Online Learning, Dr. Safia Farooqui Ma'am. To brief about today's webinar, I invite Dr. Safia Farooqui Ma'am to present welcome address to all of us. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Yogesh. A warm welcome to Mr. Sagar sir. And we are really very grateful that you have accepted our invitation in spite of your busy schedule. We are really very overwhelmed that in this short span of a time, you have accepted our invitation and you are present here to discuss about the latest current affairs on the marketing sections and to share your knowledge with our students. Thank you, sir. And I will not take much time because I don't want to become in between you and the learners. So good day. Thanks once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Before to begin this webinar, I invite Professor Sneha Bengeri ma'am to give introduction of Mr. Sagar Narsian about his profile.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Professor Sneha Bengeri. It's been a great opportunity to introduce an eminent speaker to today's August audience. Certain personalities need no introduction because they are introduced by their work and knowledge what they share with the world. Sagar sir is one amongst them. However, it's a customary to introduce our speaker to the August audience, so I'm doing that ritual. Sagar Narsian sir was born on 3rd July 1961. He has an electrical engineering degree from Pune University, wherein he stood 9th to the university. Sir went on to do masters in the management studies from Bombay University. He also has a post-graduation diploma in export and import management. Sir went on to do a scholarship program under British Chevening Scholarship Program, wherein he did his international senior executive courses from Manchester Business School, Manchester, United Kingdom. He has conducted various workshops and training programs like managing electronic commerce, which was organized by National University of Singapore. He has conducted a workshop on strategic planning and management, which was organized by Administrative Staff College of Hyderabad. He also has done a strategic marketing workshop organized by Siemens AG in Bombay. Sir has done various training programs in presentation skills, credit management, accounts receivables, managerial effectiveness seminars. He has an achievement under his able guidance. He has around about 35 years of total experiences across various industries as well as across various functions in the organization. He was responsible in building SIFY business in Western region, wherein he created a business of round about 125 million in 99 and 2000. He is certified marketing sales professional, wherein he got his certification from Certified Marketing Services International from USA, wherein it is being given by the Dutch ISO certification systems. He headed a team which developed the entire e-business program in Masters from Wellington's College. He has achieved a sales target of $500,000 million against the target was $200,000. Sir also has increased the sales of USP systems. He has achieved 100% targets. He was a youngest member of the team which was set up by Siemens AG to formulate documentations of Siemens, as well as he has received a special award from CEO of Siemens India for excellent performances. Sir has a various professional experiences across the industry as well as across the function. He was a management consultant in the area of business development, sales and marketing, involving marketing effectiveness, strategic planning, assignments for Mercedes India in USA. He was a business coach, systematic group Neelam Appliances. He is a corporate trainer. He has conducted various he was a core faculty as well as principals of Ellen Wellinger Institute of Management. He's been associated with a lot of chemical industry. He has around about 28 years of experience, rich experience in B2B marketing experiences across various industries. He is involved in a deeply development of new markets, new product. To name few organizations where he has been associated were Reliance Communication, HCL Technology, Principal Ellen Wellinger Institute of Management, Broadband Solutions, Satyam Infoway, Emerson's Electronics, Siemens India Limited, Business Consulting Group. So with this, I welcome you, sir, to this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for introducing Mr. Sagar Narsian. Now it gives me immense pleasure to welcome business coach and a corporate trainer, Mr. Sagar Narsian, to deliver valuable insights on key trends that impact buyer behavior. I request you, sir, to begin this session.
Thank you, Dr. Vidyapeeth, for this opportunity, and thank you to Patil University for inviting me to take this session. I hope the time that we are going to spend in the next 60 minutes on understanding customer trends that impact buying behavior is going to be worth your while. And I recommend you keep your thought processes aside, whatever you have learned so far, and let's try and participate and understand a journey of what is happening in the market today. I don't know if all of you agree with me or not, but there is a problem. And this problem is around this animal called the customer. Where do we find this animal, the customer? Many organizations or everybody in the world or all organizations in the world seem to be running around or running after this entity now called a slippery eel, the customer. Very difficult to find him, very difficult. If you manage to find the customer, very difficult to engage with the customer. If you manage to engage with the customer, very difficult to make him buy your products and services. And if you manage to sell your products and services to him, more difficult to even retain him for the future. I don't know if you agree with that, but this is where we are today as far as the world customer goes. At one time, about 20 years back, I remember, traveling in the Hindi heartland of India, the UP-MP belt. And they used to say the word customer comes from two Hindi words. Any idea what those two Hindi words are? Correct, Mayur. Absolutely correct. Kasht and mar. Jo kasht leke marta hai, wo customer kehlata hai. And this was very true 20-25 years ago when India was typically in what we call the seller's market. The scene has shifted today. We are practically in every segment, every sector of the economy. We are in what is called a buyer's market. Okay, and today the customer is the king, and each and every person operating in the market is trying to go after what can satisfy the customer. Is satisfying the customer enough? The answer is no. It is how can we create customer delight? How can we create customer wow? And how can we have the customer come again and again to buy products and services from us? So with this brief prologue, let me share my PPT with you. And we'll just get into trying to understand what are the key customer trends that are happening right now that is impacting buying behavior. Are you with me, everybody? How is it? So far, so good for all of you? So let's look at what is happening. We are seeing a new shopper coming out and a new shopping journey happening. All of you agree with this, that the last 2 years or last 3 years, the consumer has been through what we call a ringer, a roller coaster ride. Because of the pandemic, because they were confined to homes, many customers saw a reduction in their disposable incomes. Some customers saw an increase in their disposable incomes, depending on which side of the pandemic they were, whether it was an opportunity for them or a problem for them. It was a difficult 2 years. However, customers have emerged stronger and more resilient. Number two, they have emerged more demanding. Number three, they have emerged more clear. They are very clear as to what they want to buy. They are very clear as to from whom they want to buy, and so on and so forth. And in this era, technology has become the game changer. 3 years back, when technology was there, people were not trying to use technology that way. But the pandemic made technology, and what should I say, a compulsory part of our life. Okay. So today, every activity is technology driven. Right now, I'm talking to you because I'm technology enabled through this platform called Zoom. Okay. And everything that we are doing in our lives is around technology. So what is the customer expecting? The customer is expecting the seller and the brands to do the same. If you look at what is happening in the market, do you agree with this? We are in a wave of digitization. Do you see this information? We are in an information and data-driven society. We are in an always-on society which is connected all the time. There is a huge need to have data. For you students, those of you who come to classes and attend lectures, I have seen students in my class SMSing, has the professor come? So if the answer goes to the students who have not come to the class yet, yes, he has come. The next question that comes to the student, has the lecture started? I'm just giving you an example of how information driven we are. Now, these two sentences, has the professor come and has the lecture started, is it relevant to the person who's asking the question, who's late anyways? The answer is no. It is not relevant. But still, you want this information. Still, you want to work it on your WhatsApp and make the telecom company or the mobile service provider rich at your cost. But you just want the information. There is this terminology that has come in today called information obesity. We are constantly tracking information. So today, if you go out on a vacation, you're checking the weather reports, you're checking whether the monsoon will be there, whether it will be raining, not raining, what kind of temperature will be there in the place you go. I mean, our parents and our forefathers never did all that. They still went on vacation, but they never checked all this. But today, you will check all this. You will go on Google Maps and check how much traffic is there if you're driving to your holiday destination. So there is this need for information all the time. And that is why we are in this always-on society. This is giving rise to a whole set of new products and services that customers want that satisfy the need of getting information or being clued in. The term used is being clued in or being connected, to what is happening around them at every moment. I don't know how many of you, feel good if your mobile is switched off and the internet is off for some time. What happens to you psychologically or emotionally or mentally if you're not connected to the net for, say, a half an hour, 45 minutes, or 1 hour period? Okay, some of you get palpitations. Some of you suddenly feel disoriented, as though you're out of this thing. You have this term called FOMO. Have you heard of FOMO? Fear of missing out. You don't know what is happening in that 1 hour the net was not on with you. So this kind of behaviors, these kind of things are a part of life today. And of course, in the digital world, there is a need to check, validate, and verify everything. So if I tell you something, this is it, all of you will go to Google to validate that. You will not believe what I'm telling you on face value. You'll go and verify this, understand this, and say, okay, what I was saying is right or wrong. Okay. So this kind of information availability has shifted the power balance. Earlier, the power balance used to be with the seller. But now, with information being available to all the people simultaneously, the power balance is with the customer. And that is what makes it so much more difficult to market to the current customer and to sell to the current customer. See the next thing. Do you agree with this? We are staying in what is called the age of connectedness. We are in the always-on society. We have connected customers. We have connected homes. The current cars that you see, the latest cars are called connected cars. You have connected devices, could be mobiles, laptops, TVs, cameras. Of course, soon to be added to this list, you'll have refrigerators, microwave ovens, all getting connected, okay? You have connected wearables, watches, footwear, glasses. You have connected humans. There are people who are now connecting to their own self, to their soul, to higher masters, to higher frequencies. What is called in the connected human terminology, the internet to the internet. And of course, where can the shopper be left behind? So you're also getting into what is called the connected shopper. So in 2022, consumers no longer see a differentiation between online and offline shopping. They expect everything to be connected all the time. Consumers now see digital tools as a necessary part of the shopping experience. They expect stores to be digitally enabled, and digital enablement of stores, outlets, shopping malls can take different permutations or connotations and combinations, okay? And give rise to what is called a hybrid shopping journey, which blend the physical and digital channels. Also in retailing, sometimes called as omni-channel. What does this happen, or how does this happen? You have the rise of what is called the hybrid shopper or the hybrid shopping. Now, hybrid shopping takes various forms, okay? The customer today is shopping all the time. You are no longer constrained by physical hours, like the shop will open from 10 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the night. You can, if you want to wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and shop, you're free to do that. You want to do the shopping at 6 a.m. in the morning, you're free to do that. You do everything at your own convenience. And the seller has to provide the ability to shop, buy, do, sell, pay in multiple formats to enable this to happen. And this is what shopping is happening. There are different elements of hybrid shopping. If you see the slide, it mentions one element is search online, buy offline. It is an example of hybrid shopping. Okay, so I look at the products and services I want to buy online, do my partial selection, and then finally go into a store and make the purchase decision. The second aspect of this is I search offline and go buy online. I may go into a store, I may be passing a store, I do window shopping. I see a product that catches my attention. I don't have time to buy it right now. I say, okay, I'll look at it later on the online thing and see what I can find. So I find the product, something catches my attention, I go online and buy it later. I go to a store, buy in store and get it home delivered. Okay, I order online and go and pick it up from the nearest delivery point, like the DMart ready pickup points that you have. Or the latest trend to have in-store kiosks. So you are in store, but you're shopping online on the kiosk in the store, and then getting the products delivered either at the delivery counter, or you may also give your address and just send the products home without you having to carry any shopping bags and stuff like that. These are all the different elements of hybrid shopping that are impacting buying behavior. Today, the customer, if he has entered the store, more than 80%, more than 70% of the customers have already started the shopping journey even before they have stepped into a store. Most of the search happens online, and the customer already has formed an idea, understands a lot of the product options that he has in that category, and wants to come and make the purchase decision, final purchase decision in the store. Many times the customer may prefer to also complete the purchase decision online itself. But getting into the store is not the starting point of the shopping journey or the purchase journey. The purchase journey has started much, much before. And therefore, that puts an additional level of challenge in marketing and getting across to the customer. I don't have to I cannot wait or I do not have the luxury of catching the attention of the customer when he comes into the store. I have to catch his attention much, much, much before the customer even thinks of coming into the store. And therefore, my entire sales and marketing approach has to shift online. Now, what happens in the online channels? I mean, most of the customers are digital today. Most of the customers happen to be looking for products and services online. We discussed this point before. The balance of power has shifted in the online space. In the offline world, when marketers try to get across to the customers, we would use media like television, we would look media like radio, we will use media like print media, that is newspapers and magazines, or we will use, outdoor hoardings, etc., to catch the attention of the customer. Now, please note, in those mediums, the customer had no control on what was being sent across to him. The entire control on the message, on the communication, was with the seller. In today's space and time, the control on the information is with the customer. If the customer wishes to see something, he may see it. If he wishes to download and get to a page view to understand more, he may see it. I cannot tell him what to see. He can stop the download midway and suddenly decide he doesn't want to see this product or this brand at all. And therefore, we are now shifted into what is called the attention economy. I don't know how many of you are aware, on this planet, Mother Earth, the animal with the shortest attention span was thought to be the goldfish. Goldfish typically has an attention span of 8 seconds. Okay? And human beings, before the digital media came in, typically had an attention span between 15 to 20 seconds. Currently, as we are speaking, the human attention span is down to 7 seconds, which is less than that of a goldfish of 8 seconds, which means what? It means if you have not caught the attention of the customer, within 7 seconds, you have lost the customer. So the digital space, the digital media has added one more P to marketing. I don't know if all of you are aware of the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. The next P of marketing that the digital space has added is called pace. The speed at which you have to get across to the customer is constantly coming down. And if you're not in the game of trying to reach out to the customer as fast as he wants you to reach out to him, you're just not there. You do not exist for the customer at all. This is how simple and straightforward it is. You can spend millions of dollars on advertising. You can spend millions of dollars trying to get brand ambassadors to represent your brand. But if you're not fast enough, if you're not quick enough to get across to the customer and catch his attention at the time when he wants to look at your product or service, you have lost it. This is what the implication of this parameter is in terms of the customer behavior. Okay. So this chart is giving you how customers are looking at purchase decisions. Okay. Can you see? This is a survey that was done by the National Retail Foundation in September 2021. Across with a sample size of 19,000 respondents all over the world, drawn from over 28 countries of the world. If you see the primary method of buying in groceries, 62% is in-store, 20% is hybrid, and 19% is online. If you see personal care, 50% in-store, apparel and footwear, 40% in-store, home goods, 28% in-store, 40% hybrid, and 31% online. Average across all product categories, 45% is in-store, 55% is hybrid plus online. If you look at age group wise, you have the baby boomers, you have Gen X, you have the millennials, and the Gen Z. So if you see the baby boomers, they are 60% in store. If you see the Gen Z, which is the youngest of the group, 37% are in stores, which means the younger shoppers are more and more online. 63% happen to be hybrid and online. And this is as per latest this thing. If you want to see the definitions of who's the baby boomer, Gen X, millennial, and Gen Z, these are the definitions, okay? So the baby boomers are people born between 46 and 64. The Gen Xers are people born between 65 to 79. Millennials are people born between 1980 to 1994. And the Gen Zs are people born between 1995 and 2003. Okay, people born after 2003 have not yet reached the age of shopping by themselves to be able to give a decision. There'll be a new definition coming in soon on people born after 2003. So are you connecting with what I'm telling you so far? Is this making sense to everybody in terms of, these are some of the key things that are happening in the market that are impacting customer behavior big time. Okay. The next trend that is impacting customers is, do you speak visual? The customer or the market or the society is moving from textual communication to visual communication. I don't know, I mean, if you see the trend in most of the younger generation like you, the age of selfies, for example, is an example of how you're speaking visual. Today, if you tell a person that I'm sitting in this restaurant and eating, you don't want to send a text. You photograph the dish that you're eating and send it to to your group and to your ecosystem, right? If you're having a birthday celebration, you say, photograph the cake and all the celebrations and send it across to the people, other than writing on WhatsApp, we're having a birthday party at home. So the world is shifting from textual communication to visual communication. And therefore, it becomes, if you have to be successful in advertising or in communicating, about your products and services in future, you will have to be more and more visual in your approach to customers. Okay, so this is how it is. You can see everything. The second era or area of visual is immersive experiences. Now, immersive experiences also are coming into communicating products and services to customers in the form of what is called augmented reality and virtual reality. So the extensive use of AR and VR in advertising, in communication, in video formats will become increasingly important as we go forward into the future. And that is another trend that is important. You will be able to catch the attention of the customer faster if you're visual rather than textual. This is the key message that is coming out from this trend of, do you speak visual and are you offering immersive experiences? Typically, certain industries, for example, tourism, travel, hospitality, okay? Then industries which run on events and exhibitions. Offering an immersive experience is an important way of communicating your offering to the end customer. Today, even automobile industry is experimenting with augmented reality. They are trying to offer you test drive of cars through augmented reality. So not too successful yet. They are experimenting with this, but it is only a matter of time till the technology advances and this also becomes a part of the customer's experience. Okay. Another place, educational institutions, especially where you have residential education, can attract students using augmented reality through immersive learning experiences in the class. What do they offer in terms of staying facilities in the hostels through immersive experience and off-campus facilities? So these are areas that are going to be impacted a lot by do you speak visual and immersive experiences going forward into the future. So this is this is also a trend that is very important, and therefore it has given rise to what is called the era of visual shopping. Okay, visual shopping runs your complete e-commerce runs a lot on visual shopping. Today, it is no longer enough for the e-commerce company to give you a description of the product. So you need the description of the product, but you have images also taken from various angles, from various aspects, telling you more about the product. Okay, and of course you can zoom it, you can increase the size, you can check minute details, all part of what is called visual shopping, called visual commerce. Of course, retail was a big believer of visual anyways, in terms of store layout and visual merchandising. E-commerce also is following a similar practice. So visual shopping is another key trend, and more, of course, the trend will be towards being in pictures, being on video, etc., etc., etc. Okay. So as I said, at the individual level, also you have to speak visual. So the rise of selfies, the pressure to look picture perfect on social media, a lot of tools that are available to look your best. You can take a photograph, you can Photoshop it, you can clean your complexion, you can look fairer, darker, you have filters, color adjusters, resizers, a lot of things that can make you look better, can make you look for picture perfect on wherever you are present on the social media like Facebook or LinkedIn or Snapchat or Instagram. Okay, so this is, do you speak visual as a trend? Just wanted to take you that Indians are very social digitally. If you see, Facebook has got 329 million Indian members registered with them, the highest in the world. Okay, if you see Twitter, 23.6 million Indians are on Twitter as of Jan 2022. Out of a worldwide, Twitterati population of 229 million, third largest base is in India. If you take LinkedIn, 84.9 million Indians have a LinkedIn profile, which is the second highest in the world. Okay, and then we have 467 million users of YouTube, which is the highest in the world. So you can see where the younger generation is going, where the trend is, and it gives you insights into how you have to get across to the customer in future and how you have to market to the customer in future. Okay. Then coming to another trend that is happening, which happened or which started before the pandemic and has become more prominent or very, very prominent after the pandemic, the concept or the trend of what is called cocooning, the impulse to stay inside or within. Okay, so today a lot of people prefer watching TVs, movies at home, gaming at home. You have a lot of friends coming over, so you can go out, or alternatively, sit at home, have your party at home and order online, eat at home rather than going out. Okay, of course, work from home anyways. And the other aspect of cocooning is filtering. All of you filter out many things. Okay, you filter out your calls. Many people don't take calls from unknown numbers. You filter out your emails. You put up, ad blockers or pop-up blockers on your online sites. You have caller IDs, you have true callers, you have answering machines, so that people can leave a message, and only if you think it's important to respond back to that person, you will respond back. Otherwise, you will not waste your time getting back to that person. So this is another impact, that is another trend that is impacting buyer behavior. How do you think cocooning impacts buyer behavior? If more and more people tend to be inside, what is my challenge as a marketer or a seller? My challenge is, how do I get across to those customers who do not want to go out, who do not want to interact? I have to understand what are they doing, and I have to reach out to those customers in a different way. So one part is communication. Which media are they on, so that I can reach out to them for that? And two, I have to deliver products and services to their home. Now, this thing of staying home and home delivery got accentuated after the pandemic. And today, even the small seller, the mom and pop stores, the kirana walas, have also got into, or also have to get into, being able to deliver their products and services across to the customer at home. And if you see a new trend that is happening in the market right now, the rise of what is called the B2B platforms. So I don't know if you're aware of a platform called Uran, or you're aware of JioMart. Now, these are B2B platforms that are allowing small mom and pop stores to be able to sell through a JioMart or through the Uran platform. They are giving them digital visibility, they are giving them payment gateway services, and most important, the ability to deliver home, which the small retailer does not have as a capability. So this cocooning has given rise to this new trend of B2B platforms, which are helping small retailers, mom and pop stores, to be able to fight Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Jabong big time. Okay, and then another element of cocooning, from work from home by compulsion to work from home by choice, and now shifting from work from home to work from anywhere. I don't know how many of you are aware, there are certain countries that have introduced a new visa. It is called the work from home visa. They are allowing people to migrate from country A to country B. If you have a contract from a company that allows you to work from home, you can apply for a work from home visa, go and settle in another country and operate from there. So there are certain countries who have now introduced this new visa. Dubai is an example of that. I believe a couple of European countries like Croatia has done that. You can be in a location of your choice, because as I said, we are shifting from work from home to work from anywhere as a concept. So this is the concept of cocooning. Then we have two types of mobility happening. There was increased mobility happening in form of, mobility has various parameters. So one mobility was mobility of populations from developing countries to developed countries, okay? The second type of mobility was from rural areas to tier 2 or tier 3 cities, and then from tier 3, tier 2 cities to tier 1 cities. Then we have increased mobility of jobs, so a lot of job hopping. My father stayed in one company for 30 years. I have 6 companies in my CV. Many of you will have 10 or 15 companies in your CV, so much more job hopping. Then if you see on the entertainment side, pub hopping, then you have mobility of values. Values are no longer stable, values are changing. A lot of mobility happening of values. And of course, mobility of things, reuse, recycle, repair, and then use. So this was one aspect of mobility that was happening. And then another trend that came in, especially during the pandemic, was reverse mobility of population. So you had in the pandemic, people moving from developed countries to developing countries, from mature markets to growing markets, from tier 1 cities to tier 2 cities to rural areas to their home locations and working from there, okay? And as I said, from working locations to home locations to any location. So you have both mobilities happening. One is forward mobility and reverse mobility of population. And all of this is impacting product choices, brand choices, technology choices that the customer is regularly making for running his or her day-to-day life. Another important thing, types of customers. So there is now a category of customers called purpose-driven customers. I don't know how many of you have heard of this terminology called purpose-driven customers. Purpose-driven customers are now the largest segment of the population across the world. Let us understand, there are 4 types of customers based on this chart. You have what are called product-driven customers, brand-driven customers, value-driven customers, and purpose-driven customers, okay? Now, who are purpose-driven customers? That is important to us. If you see between 2020 and 2022, purpose-driven customers were 40% in 2020, are 44% in 2022. If you see value-driven customers have reduced from 41% to 37%. Brands are more or less constant, 14% to 15%. And the product-driven customers have again reduced from 6% to 4%. Now, please note there might be a small error in the total. All will not add up to 100 because of rounding off error. Okay, now let us look at purpose-driven customers, which is the largest component of the customer group across the world. Now, this is the customer who wants to buy products and services which are in line with their value systems. Okay, they are not buying products and services at random. Okay, they additionally want to buy products and services that provide health and wellness benefits. Now, typically, these customers are making their shopping decisions or purchase decisions based on certain values. So, what are the values they are worried about or thinking about? They want to buy products that are environment friendly. They want to buy products that are sustainable. They want to buy products that do not damage the environment in a big way. They want to buy products that are less toxic. They want to buy products that do not require too much of repair. And they want to buy products that are recyclable or biodegradable. So there is a purpose behind the purchase. They do not want to make the purchase decision only for their own selfish need. They also want to take care of the society at large. And this group of customers is gradually and clearly increasing in size year on year. Okay. Then, of course, the second largest group of customers is the value-driven customers who want value, convenience in their products and services that will make their life easy and simple. but they are not willing to switch habits to reduce the negative environmental impact. A very simple example of this value-driven customer is all of us. Many of us have, lighting at home, and many of us are using fluorescent lamps. And we say, okay, we will replace it with LED only when the fluorescent lamp gets spoiled. Yes, no, right, wrong? Does that happen to most of you? And as that when the light gets spoiled, then you progressively replace it with LED lamps. Knowing fully well that the LED lamps are consuming 50% to 80% less electricity. What prevents you from replacing all your CFLs tomorrow morning completely with LED lamps? Nothing prevents you. Of course, you have to incur a cost, but there is an ROI available. If your electricity bill is going to fall by 50% to 80%, it makes sense to replace all your fluorescent lamps tomorrow morning by LEDs. Your complete house should be on LED lights. But there are many households, many organizations that have still not done this because they come in this category of customers who are value driven, saying let it get spoiled, and only after it is spoiled and I'm forced to replace it, I will replace it with an LED light. Okay, so that's a habit that we follow, and that's why you come under this category of value-driven consumers. Okay, then you have brand-driven consumers, who are typically people who make their purchase decisions based on brands. Okay, these people like high quality, they like style, they also enjoy a much higher average income than the other customers, and they love staying on top of new trends. And finally, we have what are called product-driven consumers, who are primarily focused on buying products based on price. Whatever is the cheapest, they'll buy it. They are not tied to any brand or product attribute, nor are they, what we call purpose-driven customers. They just buy because they need the product, and they are typically the least engaged of the entire customer groups that you have in the market. Okay, so these are the type of customers that is coming in. The key trend, of course, the key takeaway from these two slides is the rise of the purpose-driven customers. So if you want to be relevant to the customer of the future, you have to make products and services that are environment friendly or are tying in with one or more values of your customer set. They are by far already the largest, and they will continue to grow in future. So this is what I wanted to talk about, the customer attributes. And then, of course, another trend which is very important is the digital influence. What is the influence of the internet on product purchases or product choices by customers? Now, this is a slightly old study which has found out that in electronics, 81% of the product choices are influenced via the internet. In appliances, it is 77%, in books, it is 70%, music, 69%, and so on and so forth, up to hair care, which is 60%. And these are the top categories where the highest level of influence is there for your products and services. The least amount of influence of the internet on products and services is on your staples. The dal, rice, all these elements are not, influenced, do not have a high digital influence, but these 10 categories. So you can see customers are now going online to make product choices. I've still not said where they will buy it. Whether they will buy it offline or online is still not clear. But what they are going to buy is influenced by what they see in the online media or the digital media. So this is another trend that you should be aware of, that is impacting buying behavior a lot. If your company is in any of these 10 categories, or you happen to join a company which is in any of these 10 categories of products, you have to be careful as to how the customer is making the product choice in these 10 categories. And then tweak your communication strategy or advertising strategy to enable the customer to make a choice in your favor online before he makes the purchase decision. So that is the key takeaway that we have from this parameter. Now, this is another very important thing to understand. Where customers learn about products is not the same where they buy. Okay, so learning about the products, can you see the whole category is given? 42% of the customers learn about the product or understand about the product through a website. 38% still learn about the product in store. So website and in store seems to be on par. Now, 32% learn through social media. Now, these numbers don't add up to 100 because there are multiple options given to customers. Where do you think you learn about new products? 33% learn in the marketplace, 29% through friends and families, 20% through consumer reviews, and 10% through professional reviews. Okay, and if you see the purchase decisions, 45% buy in store and 55%. Remember the earlier chart that we saw? And 55% is online and hybrid. So the place where the customer is understanding about new products or about the products that he intends to buy is not the same where the customer is making the purchase choice or the purchase decision. Hence, marketing has to get diversified into first convincing the customer to take the purchase choice or make the purchase choice in the place where the customer learns about the product, and then convert the customer or convert the prospect into the customer at the place where he's going to make the purchase decision. So what has happened is the two P's of marketing, promotion and place, have now started getting integrated together. Okay, earlier you had a distribution strategy and you had a communication strategy, which of course were integrated to some extent, but the level of integration that you need today is much higher than what you needed before. Because earlier, most of the purchase decisions happened in store. And in store, the sales guy, the salesperson in the store had the ability to influence the customer to change his purchase choice. But with the in-store purchases dropping, the only way to convince the customer to make a product choice in your favor, in your company or brand's favor, is online. So this is how the shift is happening, and therefore promotion and place, the two P's of marketing, have to work a lot more hand in hand to ensure that sales happens. Is this, connecting with some of you? Is this making sense to all of you how it is operating? So this is where we see another change that is happening in the consumer trend that's impacting buyer behavior. But please remember, physical stores are still important for the customer. And the same NRF study, when customers were asked, why do you want to buy in a physical store when everything is available online? These were the reasons that the people gave that why they prefer to go to a physical store. So 50% of the people said that they like to touch and feel the products before they make the purchase decision. 47% said they can pick and choose their own products. 43% said they can get the products right away. So where delivery is very cool. They want it instantaneously. Going out and purchasing becomes easier than online because online will take a day or two to deliver. 37% said the store is convenient. 33% still enjoy the in-store shopping experience. Okay, 30% don't want to pay for shipping, and then there are a whole other reasons that I'm able to get everything that I want. I get better results. I want to go out of the house. So shopping has become an entertainment point, okay, rather than just a purchase reason to purchase for entertainment. Okay. Then 16% go because products are not available online, and 13% want to see or talk to somebody before they make the purchase decision. So physical stores still important, but as we see the trend, the choices are made online, purchases can continue to happen in store. So another trend that is happening is what is called reuse. So the era of reusing, recycling, refurbishing, and repairing is one of the elements of purpose-driven purchasing. There are many customers who today, in their quest for not damaging the environment, or trying to limit the use of nature's resources or Earth's resources are willing to recycle, are willing to refurbish and use the same product rather than buy a new product, even if they have the money to buy the new product, are willing to use the same old product so that, you know, they use less resources of Mother Earth and less recycling problems are there. Okay, so this is becoming another trend. A term used for reuse, recycle is called the circular economy. Okay, and there is also a market developing for second-hand products as a result of this trend becoming normal. Okay, so today nobody thinks too much if you have repaired your car and used it a couple of years more than you're supposed to use it. So nobody takes, this thing. I don't know how many of you are aware, as a part of this reuse, recycle, this thing, and to curb the use of Mother Earth's resources, there are a new service that is available in the market for renting. So renting is also a part of purpose-driven customers. Okay, I rent it and then I don't want it, I give it back. And then somebody else rents the same product and uses it for as long as he or she wants to use it. So renting is also coming into play as a part of this purpose-driven customer psychology that is becoming prevalent in the market. Okay, so this is it. This is what happens. The next trend that is happening is cashing out. Typically, customers wanting to do things that they want to do rather than doing things that they have to do. So you have many MBA graduates or top level management people coming into and starting startups. So the startup craze that is happening happens a lot because of that. You also have highly educated people joining NGOs. Again, this is part of that purpose-driven customer trend where you also want to make your profession more meaningful and purpose-driven. Okay. Then you have the concept of house husbands. So many families where husbands take care of the families and the wives go out and earn as a concept. And of course, SOHO, small office, home office, people working from homes anyways, used to happen for small businesses and now happens even for large companies post the pandemic. So this is cashing out. Then another trend that impacts buying behavior is planning, joining like-minded people to handle the chaos and change outside. So many people are joining self-help groups, or they are joining, you have this people who are going motorbiking, or you have people who are, becoming, joining a satsang or joining a gaming group or a seva mandal, or they're joining online groups to solve problems. So this is another trend that you see happening in the society. What happens in planning? A group, when it comes together, creates norms of behavior, norms of product use, norms of product choices, right? So for example, in Pune, if you join the Rajneesh Ashram, you wear a particular uniform. Most people in Rajneesh Ashram will be wearing this red color, maroon color, dress. So it, automatically impacts product choices and brand choices. So planning creates its own pressure to conform to that group and to, be like the group members. So this is another trend that is happening. Another trend that is very, very important is called down aging, tendency of older people to mimic the young. So there's a lot of focus on wellness products to remain young, to you look youthful. Then of course, cosmetic, plastic surgery, Botox, laser sculpting, gymming, exercising, fitness, clothes and fashion, and higher use of cosmetics like anti-aging creams, whitening creams, hair dyeing, to package oneself as younger, youthful, in line with society and so on and so forth. So down aging is another trend that happens with customers who are 40 years plus, and the kind of product choices and brand choices they are making is in line with this trend of down aging. Okay. Then of course you are living in the the end of anonymity. Every aspect of all our lives are now on the internet. You have your profiles on the internet, you have your Facebook page, you have where you are, where you're holidaying, where are you eating, everything is up on the internet for people to see. And we have weddings and parties which get live streamed for those who are unable to attend. Ditto for funerals, other ceremonies. So all these things are creating a market for technology, market for streaming devices, market for hosting services, and so on and so forth. So this is another trend that happens, the end of anonymity. I have mentioned the word FOMO, which I said, is in line with, people who get disconnected from the internet for half an hour, 45 minutes. The flip side of FOMO is JOMO, the joy of missing out. I don't know how many of you heard of people going for holidays and suddenly saying, oh, I'm in this remote location. I don't have net. I don't have TV. I'm so much at peace. There's so much of nature. So now going out and being out of all the social media or being out of being unconnected is now called joy of missing out. Okay, I want to switch off. I want to have my own space. You heard these terminologies from many of your, people of your generation. Okay, so this is the joy of missing out. You want to switch off. You want to disconnect. You want to unwind. I want to have my time, my space. These are terminologies that are typically used with this joy of missing out trend that is also coming in. Now, the joy of missing out trend is giving rise to another category of vacations where people don't access mobile, don't access emails, or they have jammers where you are not able to access all this, they are not watching television, and they are doing activities other than this to see a different aspect of life or to get a different experience of life. So this is what is called the joy of missing out. Okay, so this is another trend that is happening and again giving rise to different behavioral patterns and different purchase choices. Do you see this happening all the time? Heads down culture. Do you see heads down everywhere? You see it in professional setups. You have a meeting in the conference room, how many heads are down and how many heads are up, paying attention to the speaker or looking at the screen on the PPT. How many of you have your heads down right now onto your mobile while listening to me simultaneously? You see it on the roads, you see it in the shopping malls. Okay, a trend that is again another element of what is called cocooning, to be with yourself, to be within, to be inside yourself all the time. Okay. Then what is called the rise of egonomics, not ergonomics, but egonomics, the age of the individual, the need to differentiate oneself from the crowd through products, services, possessions, experiences as a matter of self-expression. So today, a lot of people want customized products. They want, bespoke tailored clothes, customized accessories, customized cars, designer wear, personalized products like the calendars, diaries, monogram products, then theme weddings, theme parties, theme celebrations. You want to express yourself in a different way in the society. You want to differentiate yourself as an individual in the society. So your products and services change. I mean, I always give this example. If Swift is your favorite car and red is your favorite color, if there are 3 red Swifts in your neighborhood, yours is not going to be the 4th one because you want to differentiate yourself. You may buy the Swift car, but you will buy a different color, even though red is your favorite color, because of the need to differentiate oneself. So this is activity or an element of self-expression, the age of the individual. I come from the age of compliance. The people from my age group, or say 50 upwards or 45 upwards, come from the age of compliance. In our time, log kya kahenge, what will the society say was important. To the younger age, they give a damn about what the society says or what the other people say. They do as they please, and therefore the age of individual. Therefore, the age of expressing yourself individually. Even within a family, you may have 2 or 3 brothers and sisters. Each one of them wants to express themselves differently because of this age of individual. That's another trend that we see in the society. Okay. Then, of course, the trend of anchoring, which is, using traditional ancient practices to support modern lifestyle. So you see the rise of yoga, meditation, spirituality. You have a lot of these, alternative healing techniques, people getting into aromatherapy, crystal healing, pranic healing, Reiki, and so on and so forth. You will find literally anybody or everybody is trying to do something to come to terms with what is happening in the society. To be anchored within, to use these methods to anchor yourself within. Again, anchoring is a sub-component or a sub-part of cocooning, to be with yourself and within yourself. How do I get anchored so that I'm at ease with what is happening around me, at the chaos that I see in my society, in my life around me? Okay, so this is another trend that is happening. Of course, you have another thing that is coming in, being alive, the desire to live very simple, pleasurable, joyful lives. Okay, so you have people becoming vegetarian, people are going into veganism, people going into organic food, people going to basics, people going and staying in nature and rural areas. Okay, and of course, people using a lot of herbal supplements like ginseng, ashwagandha, etc. That, or people having a lot of these new healthy kind of food coming in, like green tea ice creams or tea tree cakes, etc. With a lot of natural products, no additives, no chemicals, chemical free, additive free, preservative free kind of requirement coming in. Again, chemical free, added, preservative free, no colors, etc. is part of purpose driven consumer. So I'm connecting the dots, some of the trends and how they are impacting in terms of, so what is purpose driven? You be a vegan, you become vegetarian, you don't eat non-veg food, and so on and so forth. So another thing that is happening is fusion food. All of you heard of Szechuan dosa. All of you heard of chili paneer. The Chinese don't eat paneer at all. Chinese don't have a Szechuan dosa, but we have it over here. So you have this kind of things happening. You have mixing happening in food. It is no longer good to just have a roti made of wheat. Today you will have roti made of what is called a mixed flour. So it is a combination of wheat and bajra and jawar and ragi and what have you. Okay, so you will see this kind of fusion products coming out. You have, you at one time you had a shampoo and you had a conditioner. Now you have shampoo and conditioners combined into one product. So this is another trend that is happening, mixing and fusion, coming up in a very big way, in a prominent way. And so, to cut a long story short, this is what I had to discuss with all of you. Some of the major trends that are happening, how the buyers are shaping and reshaping their requirements, their needs, the products and services that they buy, the brands and products that they prefer to use as a result of all this. I'm going to end my session over here and leave the floor open for any questions and answers. I hope it was an enjoyable session for all of you. And I keep this open for questions.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really a wonderful session. And the slide is on, and I must add that recently I had seen I had seen one example of this fusion, is that even the Domino's, they are offering the paratha pizza. So yes, thank you so much for giving us the insight about the latest trends of the buyer's behavior. Now I request Professor Sandeep Singh, sir, to please coordinate the question and answer session. So I request Sandeep sir to please ask the questions to the learners.
Thank you, Vidyapeeth sir. We have few questions in Q&A section. I request all the learners they can post their questions into Q&A section so that I can take question one by one. So we have one question from Ram Kumar. He's asking about does the customer item also differ? For example, electronics item most go hybrid, and for clothes, they go offline.
Yeah, so it will differ from product to product category and customer to customer also, both ways.
And Varad is our learner. He's asking new idea of product. Unique products can capture sales market quickly.
So yes, if you are able to create products that the customer is now looking for. So I'll give you an example. I was in the US recently and I saw a new product over there called a gluten meter. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware of gluten. The gluten is a chemical or one of the things that we consume in a largely wheat-based diet and is supposed to be not so good for health. Now, this product, actually you can put it inside your dish and it can measure the gluten in the dish and tell you what is the percentage of gluten inside that product in the dish and whether you should consume it or not consume it. So this is an idea. This is a new product that has come in. We have not seen this. It is not yet in India available. And if we are able to create these kind of products and services for customers that are purpose driven rather than value driven, yes, there is a big market for that going forward in the future. I don't know if I've answered that question adequately or not.
Yeah, thank you, sir. One question from our learner is how seller can overcome the problem of filtering?
Very, very difficult. You have no control. As I said, the power equation has shifted to the customer. So one way by which we overcome filtering is to try to surround the customer through multiple media. So we try to email the customer, we try to link up with the customer on LinkedIn, we try to connect with the customer on Facebook, we try to tell the customer to link with us on Instagram. So somewhere we are able to get a slight window through which we can get across to the customer. So the strategy used today is how can I encircle the customer with multiple communications that somewhere, somehow I catch his attention.
One customer, Umesh, is asking about the price challenge is selling the product in online and offline. So
yeah, so if you see the price challenge in online and offline is reducing. And today, in many cases, most of the cases, omni-channel pricing has become standard. Doesn't matter whether you buy online or offline. Typically, you will get similar prices. Okay, in some cases, online channels may be running a promotion to get more people to buy a product. Only in those cases, you might get more aggressive pricing on the online channel compared to the offline. But the differentiation in the price, which we used to see 3 years, 4 years back, is coming down, and going forward, it will come down further.
Yes, thank you, sir. One of the learner was asking, like, what is the basic idea for capturing B2B market?
Okay, so my focus in this has been on the B2C, but in the B2B market, also the concept of filtering is even more sharp. And we are now trying or using what are called account-based marketing strategies to try and get across to customers. Now that's a detailed, topic by itself on how account-based marketing really works. Somewhere later, if I get a chance, I'll come back and talk on this topic of what is account-based marketing.
Thank you, sir. One for learner Yamini, she's asking how the customers' reviews on the product affect the buyer preferences and choices.
Yeah, so when we talk of digital influence, a lot of it comes from the customer reviews that are written over there. Okay. So a customer review is a very important part of the buyer purchase cycle. Many times it so happens that the companies themselves go and put a review as a customer. You have to be very careful about what you read on the customer review. Whether it's a genuine customer or a representative of the company writing as a customer on the online media. You may not be able to make out the difference. But yes, it plays a big role in the customer's ultimate choice of product or service.
Yes, sir. Now we have done with all questions. I request Dr. Yogesh Jaware, sir, to present vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for coordinating this question and answer session. Now it's a time to present vote of thanks. It gives me an immense pleasure today to deliver this vote of thanks for this today's event to all dignitaries who have been assembled over here. I would first like to thank our today's speaker, a corporate trainer and business coach, Mr. Sagar Narsian, who has honored this webinar with his inspirational thoughts. And really, sir, we have known very new things. They were surrounding to us, but we have not identified it. Now onwards, I think all the learners of the Center for Online Learning, they will have that sort of the practice to look into the customers area, that what exactly is the buyer's behavior, and if suppose they want to start any new startups, I think definitely they will be going to find out the new opportunities through this understanding of the buyer's behavior. So thank you so much, sir, for giving us a understanding about the new concept, that's the head down culture. We were doing those things, but we have not somewhere we have not given some abbreviations, or we have not given any nomenclature to this. And definitely it is this type of the things will give a proper learning to learners, to that they should find out the new ways to do the business. So definitely this particular webinar has given an say an insight about the buyer's behavior, and many of the learners, they will be very happy to attend these sessions. I would also likely to thank our Honorable Dr. Smita Jadhav ma'am, Trustee and Executive Director of Dr. Patil Vidyapeeth, Pune, for always being the source of motivation for us to arrange such a corporate webinar for all our learners' development. I must thank our beloved Director, Honorable Dr. Safia Porukhi ma'am, for arranging this thoughtful, informative webinar and leading our institute towards the development. I would also like to thank to all our faculty members, staff members, and all our learners for making this webinar be very successful webinar. With this thank you note, I declare that this particular webinar has been successfully completed. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for delivering this session and sharing your valuable time with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.